Hello and welcome to this video where I am feeling so sad. Yeah, I have this like heart sadness, this heavy heart. Um, a lot of times when in the past when I'd be feeling like a lot of sadness, a lot of pain, a lot of resistance to my circumstances, like I just got to this new place. As you guys know, I'm kind of just bouncing around right now in Las Vegas. And being so sensitive, being so wide open psychically and energetically, when we go to new environments, sometimes our inner child, our nervous system, we're just going to feel a lot of resistance to being there. The environment might trigger things like this has happened a lot. And in the past, when this would happen, I would believe the mind's conceptualizations about the sensations that I was feeling. So I notice when I'm feeling resistance or dis-ease, unease, or I'm not feeling like the nervous system just feels agitated, or fight or flight's activated, or freeze. I notice the mind will make conceptualizations about that, and it'll say, you shouldn't be here, you're out of alignment, something's wrong. And in the past, I would believe those conceptualizations that the mind would produce when I would have difficult and challenging sensations in the body. And I would immediately switch environments. No matter how much of an inconvenience it would be for myself or others, no matter how much chaos it would cause, I would believe that conceptualization of I shouldn't be here. I'm out of alignment and I must rectify this immediately, right? And for a while, that was really a healing thing to do, a cathartic thing to do. It was the right thing for me to do at that stage of my awakening, to really put myself first above all, to be a little selfish. A lot of us, we come into spiritual awakening as empaths and people pleasers. Empaths don't necessarily need to be people pleasers, of course, but a lot of times before we deepen in our awakening process, we are people pleasers. And so for putting ourselves first and, doing whatever it takes to make ourselves comfortable is such a gift we give to ourselves. And it's like a skill or a trait or an inner movement we really need to learn because we're so used to putting everyone else first and putting ourselves last. So for a while, I really leaned into that, and I would just, do whatever it took. But as I've really learned that skill, I feel like my awakening process is asking something more of me now. So when I'm feeling these difficult sensations arise in this new environment, and I've committed to be here for a week, a year ago, I would have said, fuck this. I would have canceled. I wouldn't have cared what I would have had to pay, what people would have had to go through. And I would have just got this nervous system in a place where it felt relaxed no matter what. And I think that's a bow before the inner child, bowing to the nervous system. That's so beautiful. We must learn how to do that. We must learn that. But this time, as embodied as I've become, of course, there's still a long way to go. I feel this deeper calling. There's this deeper calling that said you committed to be here. You gave people your word that you'd be here for a week. And I'm not so there's that. I want to embody that integrity, right? And I want to like I've talked about in previous videos, I really want to be a man of my word. But deeper than that, I'm really seeing within me the unraveling of the movement of where I just automatically believe my mind's conceptualizations about what the feelings in my body are. I'm noticing that I am not as identified as what the mind is saying the sensations mean. So, for example, I've been having these really uncomfortable sensations in this new environment this evening, and my mind has made the conceptualizations and the judgments of this is out of alignment for you, this is not good for you, this is wrong, you've got to leave. It's just kind of looping on that type of pattern of thinking, right? And I used to just fall into alignment with that or fall into identification with that. And I'd go somewhere that my mind would more approve of. But this time, there's not as much of a pull to do that. I notice I go in and out. I titrate into that sometimes, and I really believe it. I'm like, oh my God, yeah, this is not in alignment. I got to get out of here. But then I titrate into a deeper place that says, how do you know this is in alignment? Maybe the divine wants you here to trigger some deeper feelings, some deeply rooted feelings of I'm not safe. I think we all have these deeply rooted unconscious feelings and beliefs that we got from childhood or perhaps past lives when we were burned at the stake for being different, for being weird, you know? I think we have these deep-seated beliefs and energies in us that say that just feel like I'm not safe. Like there's this little inner child in me that's being triggered right now that just feels I'm not safe. And maybe this is perfect alignment because being here in a place that's triggering this wound up gives me an opportunity to meet it with love. And my mind will say, well, your nervous system's not relaxed. You can't get into a channeled state. You can't get into flow. You can't do your work. But I'm getting chills when I say this. The deeper thing is God saying, no, you're doing the work. Being here and meeting this one who doesn't feel safe, who hasn't felt safe perhaps for lifetimes. Meeting this deeply seated wound. This is the work. This is why you're here, Matthew. I'm so flooded in grace and goosebumps. I'm so glad I made this video. It's very clarifying for me. These videos are often they're if you can't tell, they help me integrate so much. So it's interesting how this time I'm like not so quick to just believe my mind's conceptualizations about what the sensations are. And I'm just letting the mind make its judgments and its conclusions. I'm just letting it do it and watching it like, oh, that's interesting. Maybe you're right, mind, but maybe you're not. And just feeling like, why wouldn't this be alignment? Why wouldn't the divine, why wouldn't the universe, why wouldn't the intelligence of life want to help me unearth these deeply seated wounds? These parts of me that feel unsafe, these parts of me that just don't trust life, period. These parts of me that don't trust God, period. And maybe it takes a place like this type of environment, for me to really, really see these wounds so fully and meet them so fully. And how I now have the space and the strength to meet them with open arms, that I now have the unconditional love to meet them with open arms, to embrace them, to welcome them back home and to tell them you can be afraid. Telling these wounds, you get to be afraid all week if you want to. You can resist being here all week if you want to. I'm going to be here holding you and loving you. I'm going to be right next to you the whole time. I'm not going to be disassociating on my phone. I'm going to try not to. I'm going to be gentle with myself there too. But just telling this one, so with this little one in me who hasn't felt safe perhaps for many lifetimes, has learned that he can't trust life, that by being his true self, his unique expression, maybe horrible things have happened to him in the past, right? He gets to learn like, oh my gosh, there's this loving space here now that's going to see me. He gets to come up out of the shadows. This is all about shadow integration for me being here. And he gets to learn that he is safe. That it doesn't matter what environment we're in. Ooh, more chills. That's the big one. It doesn't matter what environment we're in, Matthew. I needed to hear that from myself. It doesn't matter what environment we're in, we're always fucking safe. That's what this one's learning on a deep, deep level. I have chills in my legs, and that's like our root, right? That's like feeling the ground beneath us, that safety. And it's like I'm waking up to some energy centers down there in this video right now. Like waking up the power source down there, it feels like. Oh, wow, that was a really, really good video for me to shoot. Thank you for holding space. Thank you for hearing this. Yeah. So honored to meet this one in me. And so thankful to the divine for orchestrating things in such a way that I get to meet them. And I'm so thankful that I have the space that I don't have to immediately go into identification with my mind's conceptualizations about the feelings in my body. That I get to meet a deeper truth here. That I get to integrate something really probably old and buried, and that has been just longing to be met with love, has been longing for the light to see it. And now that time has finally come. So thank you so much for being here, guys. It means a lot to me just you watching this, liking if you want to. I don't mind. Any feedback is great. Just subscribing. Whatever resonates with you. I put links if you want to support me in a deeper way in the description box for donations, booking a session if that calls to you, or joining the Patreon page. But I just love each and every one of you so much. I'm sending you guys all the love, all the blessings, and I wish for you guys a great night. Namaste.